Well, I'm pleased to say we can now join Dom live from Tehran. Dominic, great reporting as always. Reflect for us, if you can, on the timing of this funeral, these months after his killing around about the 28th of February. And also, a little more, if you can, on the feeling you're getting from the Iranians you've spoken to about the message that this funeral and this week of mourning sends to the world.
Yeah, well, in terms of the timing, it's 4 months after he was killed, and I think the Iranian government's decided to wait that long because they want to bury him when they can give him full honours, and obviously you can't do that during wartime. In terms of the feeling, well, we've been speaking to people here, just to give you an idea, Kamali, where we are. This is one of the main sort of routes into where he is lying in rest. So this is a refreshment station they've set up there, and the picture we've got of Ayatollah Khamenei, to the left of that, there's a script that says, martyrdom is like the fragrance of a flower, and it's bestowed only on special people. So martyrdom is central to the idea of what has happened to Khamenei, but also central to the Shia religion. So the people we've spoken to who have come in and are streaming on their way in, I mean, the walk to the Grand Musalla, that's the big mosque complex, where Khamenei's coffin is lying in state. That's half an hour walk from here. A lot of people here, that distance. From there, we've spoken to one family who've come from the holy city of Qom, a family whose 8-year-old son has written a book, his father proudly told me, about Khamenei, and that son, Mohammed Mahdi, told me he said he feels sad, but he says he feels vengeful as well. And so that idea of vengeance is something that a lot of the Iranians we've spoken to this morning are talking about. Spoke to a couple of grandmothers. They say they are here, they've come here, they said, to pay their respects, but also to demand vengeance. And they want to see what's happened to Khamenei, happened to Israel and America's leaders. Now, interestingly, those grandmothers were also here for Khomeini's funeral back in 1989, where millions of Iranians converged on the capital. They had to actually postpone the burial of the first supreme leader, Ayatollah Khomeini, because the scenes were so chaotic that the casket of the Ayatollah was tipped over and his body fell out. Now, those grandmothers said they remember that day very well, but they say today they feel the feelings will be even stronger because of what Khamenei has taught them about the principles of martyrdom, that very important principle again, that concept at the heart of Shia religion, but also about the revolution. And also, they say, because the feelings on the streets will be one of vengeance, again saying that. So strong feelings here, also a huge amount of security, a lot of IRGC security personnel, Basij personnel on motorbikes, riding around behind them, because of course this is a divided country, as we saw in the process that came before this war. Thousands of people out on the streets of a lot of cities across the country. A lot of people were killed by their own government forces as well. And as I said in that report before this, a lot of young people we've spoken to say they won't be coming to this funeral. They do not identify with the kind of leadership that Khamenei represents, an old, outdated form of leadership that they regard as repressive. Having said that, we are going to see millions of Iranians, and I think the job for the authorities is to avoid the chaos of 1989 and the chaos that we saw in Soleimani's, the commander Qasem Soleimani's funeral that led to more than 50 people being crushed in a stampede. But key for any government, I think, setting up and organising a funeral for a figure as significant as Khamenei is not so much, it's about his past, about his life, but it's also about his legacy. They want to set up and project, I think, a narrative that builds on the legend that's already building around Khamenei, that he martyred himself, that he gave up his life so his country could become stronger. And I think all Iranians, or many Iranians of lots of different stripes, even if they don't support the government, are proud of what their country has managed to achieve, standing up to this war of aggression, this illegal war of aggression waged by Israel and America. And I think the government is hoping to capitalize on that belief, sort of seeing Khamenei's life and his death embodying that, and build on that today in this funeral, which will undoubtedly be, I think, one of the biggest sort of outpourings of grief and the biggest numbers of people we've seen on the streets of any capital for any world leader for a long, long time.